Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I wanted to answer this question because, I know that a lot of the times people, they deal with hate. And it can drag on for some time. I feel like if anybody knows that better than anybody else, it's me. Did I say that right? I don't know if I said it right. Don't care if I even said it right. But anyways, no. Yeah. For those that don't know, I've been dealing with a hate group for almost 10 years now. I think it'll be April of this year. It will mark the 10-year anniversary of when I pretty much made the worst decision that I could have made in my content creating career, and gave my biggest hater any attention. Like that's one thing that I will say before it even gets to a situation where you guys are beefing. Don't respond to the person. Ignore them. That's honestly the best and worst thing that you can do to them. It's best for you because you don't have to deal with that person, but it's worse for them because they will spend so much time trying to get your attention. But yeah, when they realize that you're ignoring them, it's like, or if there's no content that you can or that they can like feed off of you and stuff, like they can't make no content about you because you ain't responding to them, then yeah, eventually they'll run out of ideas, and that's the thing too. Like I can say that the same thing has happened to me. Like there was a point in time where I was ignoring my haters, and then they started making up lies about me and stuff. And so, yeah, they were like setting me up for situations. Like they were trying to do any and everything that they could to get me canceled throughout the 10 years that I've been going at it with them. And I'm like, man, I don't know. I just never would have thought that people would be that much interested in my life than their own. And so that is one of the things, because there's going to be like multiple answers for this question. Why do haters hate? But, yeah, I would say that that's probably the one thing that I've noticed is that haters don't have much going on in their personal lives. They don't even have nothing going on with their internet lives and stuff. But no, yeah, let's talk on both. So with their personal life, I would say that I went to school with kids that displayed like a hater mentality and stuff. Like they're jealous over whatever it is that you're doing, whether you could be like a kid that's really good at sports, or you're popular amongst other kids, or what else, that's one of the smartest kids in the class. There's always gonna be that one kid hating on you. And I remember going to school with a kid like that, and that was one thing that it was displayed one day, is that he's only good with an audience. And that's one thing with haters, is that they're only good with an audience. They need an audience to thrive, because if they don't have no audience, if they don't have nobody in their corner telling them that they're doing something good, then yeah, even that's another way of them like pretty much falling off, I guess, when it comes down to hating on somebody. But yeah, I remember going to school with this kid where he was hate, because I think that's what it was. He thought that I was trying to get with his girlfriend, and I'm like, fam, I don't care. It's no disrespect to your girlfriend, but I don't care for her. I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, she's cool, she seems like a nice person, but yeah, I ain't got time to be. Why would I cause drama for myself like that? So yeah, it's one of those things. I'm like, yeah, she was single, different story, but she's in a relationship. That's one thing people need to know about me, is that I got respect for people's relationships and stuff. So I even though we were teenagers, if we could have just sat down and had a man-to-man conversation, then it's like that, then it would have been handled right then and there. But no, he wanted to play a petty game but that was the thing though. He only wanted to play this petty game with his friends around. And so the two times I remember I did catch him by myself, and it was funny because, I was going to wait for him to do something. I'm like, if he would have came up swinging, I definitely would have been throwing the last few punches, because I'm like, yeah, he didn't strike me as a fighter. He struck me as that kid that, pretty much did what he was doing. Talked a big game when his friends were around, or when his friends were watching, but behind closed doors, he didn't have nothing to say. And so I realized that, and I'm like, that would just be kind of bad on my part to pick on a kid like that, and I could very well, I had the ammunition to do so. Like I had the time, the energy. I was a teenager. I had no responsibilities. I was rebellious. Oh yeah, I definitely had the time and the energy to do so. But I think there was at a point in time when I did start getting older. I started thinking like, I'm getting ready, because I think that was my senior year when all that stuff was going down. I can't remember if it started my senior year or if it started my junior year, but then it ended in my senior year. I know for a fact it did end my senior year. I just don't remember when it started. But yeah, he definitely was one of those kids that had like a hater mentality, and I'm like, fam, and that's the crazy thing about it is that nobody was doing nothing to him. His name wasn't mentioned. He wasn't. But I guess I don't know. Like, yeah, I know that that's a thing with people where they have like a jealousy or like a not trust issues, but like dang, what's that? And I know the word. I know the word because I'm like it's sitting right there in my head, but dang, man, I can't think of it. But it's pretty much like when a person, it's not jealousy, but it's pretty much like a person, they don't want no, not ego. Dang, man, I cannot think of that word. And it's like, and it's right there. Like I can see it, but it's among a crowd of other words and stuff. But yeah, I think he just was on some business where he didn't want nobody talking to his girl. And I'm like, fam, like the girl's gonna have friends. Like you can't stop her from having friends, you know. And the thing is this, if she decides to have some guy friends, then it's like, yeah, whatever. I guess like whoever you are, it's like it ain't really all. And it's crazy too because I remember I don't think I really did stay in contact with her for that long, but I remember we were cool with each other on social media for a minute. And I think they broke up at some point in time. And I was like, I just think that it was man, I'm like, the word is right there, and it's like when I try to say it, it just like it hides amongst the crowd again. I'm like, you know what, we just gonna move past that and stuff. But anyways, but fast forward, when I got into content creating, that was a kid that I started thinking about when I started dealing with haters for the first time, because I'm like, they talked a big game on the internet. That was like, and that was the thing, because they had their crowd backing them up. And so in the times where I've gotten into it with people, that's the one thing that they always rely on. They always rely on their audience, you know, pretty much speaking up for them. And it's just crazy to me because I'm like, if you have a good argument, you don't need your audience to back you up. And that's one thing that I've always tried to promote with content creating, is that you shouldn't have to use your audience to do your dirty work. And every person that I have gotten into it with have always used their audience. So that's where the hate really comes from. I guess it's motivated by the person that causes it, but it's dragged on by the fan base. And that's one thing about it, where it's like, just seeing I like how I just got distracted, you know, because I was talking about how haters don't have a life and things. Getting back to that. But no, overall though, they don't have nothing going on in their personal lives. Like if they did, trust me, they wouldn't be on the internet. Like if they had jobs, career, or you know, businesses that they wanted to start up, girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever the case is. Because no, and that's one thing about it. I remember there was one hater. It's actually the one. So if you guys remember the situation from some years ago where the hater pretended to be suicidal and then reached out to me and was all like, "Oh, I'm feeling so." Yeah, that was fake. That was all from you know, motivated by the fan base that I've been going at it with for 10 years. Yeah, they were just, like I said, they were trying to do any and everything that they possibly can to get me canceled. And so I can't remember if I said that, because I did do a couple of takes of this episode, and I can't remember if I said that. But yeah, overall though, they were on my case for 10 years, and they were trying to do any and everything that they possibly can to get me canceled. So yeah, lying on my name, if they thought that was the way of getting me canceled, they did that, you know. So, but no, overall, to mention her, that was one thing I remember. It was a friend of hers that reached out and told me the business with her, and said how she faked being suicidal. And then, but yeah, she said, like, I guess the girl is married now. I don't know what her like family situation is, like whether she got kids or not. But yeah, when you start having some responsibilities in your life, yeah, you don't have time to sit around and hate on people and things. And so, and if you do, then it's like, fam, you really gotta look at your priorities in life. Like, what's more important, my family and keeping my family together, or hating on this individual? Because I guarantee, and I promise you, if you sit around hating on somebody and you got all these different things from a job, whether it's your own business, or if you're working for another business, but you have a family, or even if you don't, like where you ain't got no kids, still you have a significant other. And if not that, then you got your, like, you know, your immediate family, like your parents or your siblings or cousins, aunts, uncles, nephews, nieces, people that care about you, but you don't show the time and effort to care about them because you're so caught up with hate and so, or being being a hater and things. And it's like, man, you really got to sit down and think about it. Like, where are my priorities at in life? Because it shouldn't be right here. It should be hating on somebody on the internet and stuff. But yeah, you'll see for the most part that they don't have nothing going on. And if they do, they don't see it, because they're so busy caught up hating on somebody. It's like they love hating people more than, I guess, taking the time to love and care for their own family or even friend group and things. If they're not all that close with, I'm pretty sure they have to have friends. But if they ain't got friends, I can understand why. Because friends ain't trying to. The thing is this, and I guarantee and I promise you, my haters done had this conversation with some friends, like if they were in school or if they're working at a job. I guarantee and I promise you they hadn't had conversations about me where they're like, oh yeah, there's this guy on the internet and they're sitting there and talking about me and stuff, and they'll get mad at their friends, I guess, for not understanding the hate, because their friends will watch their videos about me, or they'll just watch my videos, excuse me, and then they'll be like, well, what is there to hate on? It's just some random guy on the internet. Like, he don't strike me as somebody that purposely goes out of his way to bother people. He does reaction videos and he does voiceover videos. So what? Like, I see numerous people. There's numerous people on the internet that does voiceover videos and reaction videos. Why is he different? Why is he? And they'll try to say any and everything possible. I'm like, oh, well, this is why I watch all his videos and be hating on him and all this other stuff. And they're like, yeah, that's a waste of time. And they'll get mad at their friends for doing that. And so that's one thing about it, is that they try to, like, the reason on their, I guess, if they hate on you for a long period of time, because you'll have the normal hater, and if you deal with a normal hater where they just hate on you for a short period of time and then they move on, you don't even have to listen to this podcast episode. But if you're dealing with a long-term hater, because yeah, there's short-term haters and then there's long-term haters. If you're dealing with a long-term hater, they'll try to justify why they've been hating on you for so long. And I'm like, fam, there is nothing that you can say that could convince me on why you're hating on me for a long period of time. Nobody should ever be worried about another person that much. So that's why I'm like, yeah, it's stuff like that where I'm like, there ain't no justifications for it. You're just being weird on the internet. Like, and that's the thing too, where even with people that deserve the hate, like let's just say Logan Paul for an example. So after he did that Japan forest video, the hate surrounding his name, it was one of those things where it's like he might not ever, he might end up quitting content creating, because I don't know how you can come back from some stuff like that. But he did, and that's the thing, like he made up for it, but there's gonna be people out there where what he did wasn't enough. They're like, no, I still gotta hate on him. I gotta bring it up in every video that he uploads. I guarantee and I promise you, you can look at his latest videos, you can look at any videos, there is going to be people bringing it up. If not that, then they're pretty much doing what I've seen people, haters do, where they'll be making videos talking about it and stuff. Hold on for a second. Let's just see. It might pop up with like some other stuff, but let's just see. Logan Paul. Let's just Japan. Yeah, let's just Logan Paul Japan. Let's see what videos pop up. So there was a video from 2 years ago. So it seemed like a lot of the video. Oh no, wait a minute. It was a video from 9 months ago. Somebody made a 3D animation of that video and stuff. Yeah, I just don't understand. And it, because it just brings me back to a time frame when people were doing like Grand Theft Auto. They were using Grand Theft Auto 5, 4, and 5 to describe I hadn't seen Biggie and Tupac deaths recreated in Grand Theft Auto. It's like, it's one of those things my ain't gotta get recreated. But anyways, yeah, there's quite a few different videos where they're talking about, I don't think they're not so much, oh no, wait a minute, there's a recent video, there's like Logan Paul walks off after Mike pushes Tana for his jokes. I think that's old, though. I think that, yeah, that's old. It does say it was uploaded 3 months ago, but people still bring it up, overall. And, nah, man, it's like that's something that's never going to escape from him. And no, people still to this day, they hate on him. And it's crazy because it's like he apologized. I feel like that he did any and everything that he could to, I guess, clear his name and stuff. And yeah, and there's gonna be people out there that's still gonna be like, nah, he ain't did enough. And so yeah, that's what you call long-term haters, where it's like you can say whatever, you could do whatever, you can apologize a million different times, you can show regret and remorse it's never gonna be enough. I guess like it won't be enough until something bad happens to you. And so yeah, let's just say if something were to happen to me, then that's when my haters would be like, oh, he deserved it. And then that's what they, well, no, that's the thing though. Even after the fact, you'll still see it where people will be hating. It's like, yeah, you'll have like long-term haters during your lifetime and even after you pass. I guarantee and I promise you, there's people that done lived their life, done died at some point, and they still got haters till this day. I just can't think of no examples, but I'm pretty sure it exists. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, I feel like that if we're looking for a more legitimate answer on why do haters hate, we really got to hear it from themselves. And that's the thing, like they're never going to come up with an answer that's going to make sense, on why they've been hating on somebody long term. Short term hate is like, it'll last like maybe within 2 months. And then after that, it's like they done moved on, but it usually gets like within them 2 months, and it's you'll usually see it when a hater is just like they'll wait for you to talk on the situation rather than let me comment on a random video talk, because I done dealt with that. I ain't dealt with when they comment on a random video. They done went to my my live streams. They done went to my friends' live streams. They done went to friends of mine that I went to school with. Like, bro, I'm telling you, like the hate surrounding my name, like that long-term hate, yeah, haters, they would go above and beyond for it, bro. So but anyways, yeah, like I said, I feel like that in order for us to get a legitimate answer on why do haters hate for so long, we need to hear from the haters themselves, because and there's haters that I still deal with till this day from that hate group that I've been dealing with for 10 years. Like there's still people from that community that I deal with till this day. And they just, some of the stuff that I see, like I just seen the one, because there's the AI hater where he only makes AI content. He can't make original content, and when you challenge him to make original content, he just ignores it, and then he just only wants to focus. And so that's, if anybody, I guess if they do come across that guy, the AI hater, no, just like spam that in his comment section. Just be all like, hey, make original content and stuff. Cause, yeah, for some reason he refuses to make original content. And it's like, fam, you can't if you call yourself a content creator, you're lying to yourself. But no, it's like you go to his channel, the majority of his, like anything, so I remember, cause last year he was on my case. Actually, he's been on my case for a few years now, but it was last year when he really started getting active with, being on my case. And so, and that's the thing. I'm like, I don't even know why he just randomly just upped out of nowhere and started hating on me. Maybe it was influenced by the videos. Maybe he was told to. But, and yeah, because I do believe that's something that they like to do. Because I've seen it before where they like to gather up information on me and then have it where they make a video and stuff. And so, or they have like content to make a video about me. And I'm like, man, like if I'm actually doing something, then okay, talk about it. But if you're having to go out of your way to stage some crap, and then that's your way of making a video on me, that's just sad, man. It's a sad attempt at trying to keep the drama alive, because I say that the drama died off years ago, but no, yeah, they still want to keep hope alive with it and stuff. But yeah, like I was saying though about that guy, was that he was on my case last year, then he started getting on my case again this year. Went as far as to create accounts on all the different websites that I'm active on and was following me on those accounts. And I'm like, bruh, if a person blocks you, I don't think you understand what a blocking means. And that's something that's like you will have to explain at times to a hater, because you'll block them and then they'll create another account and be all like, hey, you blocked me. Why do you think I blocked you? Like that, like honestly though, sit down and answer yourself that question. Why do you think that I blocked you? I'm like, please sit down and think hard about that question. But once when you think of an answer, not your answer, but a general answer, that's why I blocked you. But in case if they do need an answer, is that I don't want to be bothered with you. And now if whatever answer that you came up with doesn't match with that, then yeah, that's why I'm like, you're still trying to justify your hatred towards somebody. And I'm like, fam, no. It's one of those things where it's just you got blocked for a reason, stay blocked, so, but anyways, yeah, it's just at times haters, they act weird, and it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know, maybe mommy didn't hug them enough when they were a kid. We'll never understand why they hate, because it's like that stuff is taught to them, so maybe it was taught to them by their parents. If so, you had bad parents growing up. If you learned it through the internet, you was involved with the wrong crowds on the internet. And that's usually a lot of the times, like, people ain't got nothing going on for themselves, so they run to groups and communities on the internet, and then they feel welcomed. And it's like, nah, bro, you're being used. You're being used to do somebody else's dirty work. Because the funny thing is, when you look at a lot of my haters, they're fans. They're fans of a much more bigger hater, and you will never catch them, the bigger hater, doing half of the stuff that they do. So that's why I'm like, and they don't realize that. They don't understand that because they're so caught up with being a hater and things. And so, yeah, it does take a lot for a hater to understand that they're in the wrong, but they'll never, I guess, accept that they are in the wrong because they want to be right on everything that they talk on and stuff. And so I guess that's another thing too. When talking to a hater, they want to be right the whole time in the conversation. So there's never a time where you are right, you make sense. They're like, no, you're wrong and you always will be wrong, and I want you to say that you're wrong and I'm right. And it's weird that conversation, because I guarantee and I promise you, if they're in school and they're talking like that, they're gonna get kicked out of the classroom. If they're at their job and they're talking like that, they're gonna get fired. If I'm trying to think of some other situations, okay, yeah, let's just say their parents. If they talk like that with their parents, they're gonna get kicked out of their home. Why is it that on the internet it can't be the same way, where it's like they get blocked, but they don't accept getting blocked? They're like, no, I gotta, you gonna say that you're wrong and I'm right. And I'm like, nah, bro, you're just weird. Let's just end it off on that. So, but anyways, with that being said, yeah, on how to overall deal with hate in general, just ignore it. That's the best thing that you can do for yourself. Ignore it, move on, and find better things to I guess, like, focus your time and attention on. If you are focused on the hate, trust me, when you ignore it, the hate does die off. Like, that's one thing about it, and that's one thing that I've seen over the years. Like, there are still some people that do be hating on me, but it's not as bad as it was back some years ago. So, but anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow, subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service, and peace.